In this video, we will review REUR measurements and how to perform REUR measurements within the Medrex Studio software. REUR measurements are performed to verify the settings in hearing instruments with acoustics of the ear canals taken into account. In REUR measurements, an input is measured by the probe microphone and is analyzed by the system, then displayed in real time as a continuously updating peak from 125 Hz to 8000 Hz. To begin, you will want to click on the REM module in the Medrex Studio software. Before you begin taking measurements, you want to make sure that you have all of the frequencies plotted on the audiogram for the ears in order to display the targets properly. You can see a description of each measurement in the manual by clicking on F1 or by clicking on the question mark in the top of the window. To calibrate the speakers, click on the speaker icon at the top of the screen. Make sure to attach the probe tubes to the reference microphone and place them about 1 meter from the speakers. It is important to make sure that you do not have anything blocking the speakers. When you click Start, you will hear the calibration noise. To calibrate the probe tube, click on the probe tube calibration icon at the top of the screen. Place the probe tube between the calibration nibs on the reference microphones. Make sure that the opening of the probe tube is centered over the opening of the reference microphone. You can choose to calibrate the probe tubes individually or both at the same time. When you start the calibration, you will hear the calibration noise from the speakers. The signal must reach at least 70 decibels to complete a valid calibration. If the screen prompt indicates that the signal is too low, either increase the volume of the speaker or move the patient closer and restart the calibration. The Medrex REUR measurement protocol consists of the REUR, which is the real ear unaided response, and the REAG, which is the real ear aided gain response. If measuring for insertion gain, then it is suggested that the REUR and the REAG be completed. After the REUR is run, a curve will be plotted by the software on the REUG screen as well. It is suggested because the insertion gain equals the aided gain minus the unaided gain. To begin the REUR measurements, you want to place the probe tube in the patient's ear. See the probe tube insertion guide that came with your kit. In the Studio software, you can select the ear, the stimulus type, whether or not it is an open fit hearing aid, and the intensity level of the stimulus all on the right-hand side of the screen. To change the characteristics of the hearing aid setup, you can click on the target icon on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and then you can change the settings there. You can also change the targets that you would like to show on the graph. Prior to taking measurements, make sure that the hearing aids are connected to the manufacturer's software. If possible, place them in the REM mode. To measure the real ear unaided response, or the REUR, you must have the probe tube in the patient's ear without the hearing aid. The REUR is typically completed using the BBN burn stimulus. When you are ready to record a measurement, press Start. The REUR must run in its entirety. The REUR can be a great indicator for probe tube placement. If there is a dip in your measured REUR curve at 6 and 8,000 Hz, that typically indicates a poor probe tube placement. After the REUR is run, a curve will automatically be plotted on the REUG screen as well. The REUG is the real ear unaided gain response. It measures the additive effect of the ear canal's resonance to a stimulus. It is reported as dBSPL of gain. When measuring the REAR or the REAG, you want to make sure that the hearing aid is on and in the patient's ear along with the probe tube. The real ear aided response is a measurement of the sound pressure level in the ear canal with a functioning hearing aid. After selecting your stimulus, press the Start button to begin a real ear aided response measurement. While the stimulus is playing, you can go back to the manufacturer's software to make adjustments to the settings so that your curves fall on the targets that are plotted on the graph. This test can be run multiple times and at multiple intensity levels. It is recommended to perform measurements at soft, medium, and loud inputs. You can find all of the curves in the legend at the bottom of the screen. You can see that after performing the REAR, the curves are then plotted on the REAG graph in the form of gain instead of SPL. When measuring the MPO, or maximum output, of the hearing aid, you can change the intensity level of the stimulus on the right-hand side.